Week and welcome to Talk Time. This morning, another beautiful conversation we're set to have. We're taking a look at dealing with living mothers-in-law, or like some will say, the other way in law. I don't know. I'm not going to say that. But how best can we deal with these situations? Many have also said, well, women, we all aspire to be mothers and mothers-in-law. So how do we treat our mothers-in-law at the present? And so perhaps that will determine how we could also be treated much later on in life. But is that really, is it a give and take thing? I don't know. Well, our friend is in the house today. She'll help us take a look at this conversation. And Remela is still here. I don't mind that. She said she was going to leave the building earlier on, but she's still here in the studio. And we will have this conversation together. I do Tahila, a relationship and communication coach. Thank you again for being on the program today.
Thank you so much for
having me. You look so beautiful. Lady in red. Right, so our conversation this morning, we're taking a look at, I'm sure this conversation will somehow dovetail into in-laws generally. Sometimes it's not just about mothers-in-law. We also have families, who of course will represent part of...
Fathers-in-law?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure that's common though. Is it common?
No, it's not.
It's not common, but it happens.
It happens, but it's a very, very rare happen.
Right.
You know, it's a rare happenstance.
Okay.
The mothers-in-law, it's a question I would like to ask. If they live in, one wants to assume that they're widows.
Okay.
Because if they are not widows, who did you leave your husband with?
Right.
So, but that's a discussion for another day.
Okay.
So we will assume that they are widows.
Okay.
There are several assumptions that would be safe to make. So if it's the mother of the husband that is coming to live in that family, the question is he the only son or does he have siblings? Because a lot of people say, oh no, you can't have your mom come and live here, or the other way around if it's the girl's mom. No, your mom can live here. So the question you want to ask is, when you were courting and you were dating, did you talk about these things?
Right.
Because I remember that the last time I was here, we talked about values and then, you know, what would her home look like? So there are critical questions you need to ask. Are there people who will be living with us? Is your mom coming? Is your dad coming? Are your siblings coming? So now we're talking about mothers-in-law. Now there are a lot of beautiful women who we call mothers-in-love. So it's not just by law, but they actually love us and we love them. Right. And then we have the other side who we call monsters-in-law.
Thank God you said it.
But, you know, anyone can change. Anyone can change.
Sure.
So the assumption here is that she's a widow. Otherwise, why would she be living with you?
Right.
But then the critical question to ask is, why does she want to live with us?
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't sit down to think about it. For every action, there's a root cause. Why does she want to live with us? So the first assumption is he's the only son or she's the only daughter.
Right.
So really she has no choice. She needs to live with you. But why? The answer? This will shock a lot of people. She's lonely.
Okay.
She has no one to be with. So she's a widow. Is she supposed to stay alone? Because even as unmarried people, sometimes you get tired of your own company. And I think 2020 was a very big eye-opening year for a lot of people who would say, oh, I don't go out. I'd rather be at home. And then you were at home for the first month, the third month, the fifth month. And you're like, I think I'm going to run crazy. I need to see somebody. Like, I need to lay my eyes on somebody. You know, so we weren't built to be alone. We were built for union, for companionship, for fellowship. You know, you can't do it yourself, and that is where your mother-in-law is. She can't be by herself.
Right.
She wants to stay where others are. Yeah.
But then, at what point do you have this? No, you said at the point. Why is that conversation very important? Because then you have someone who it's coming from an environment where they were told it's yourself and your wife, leave and cleave and go stay on your own. And then you have this unfortunate incident of the woman losing her husband, even though it's inevitable. However, it wasn't planned
Yes.
at the time it happened.
Yes.
Why is it important that that conversation must be had?
Now, that conversation, like we said, is really critical because things happen, life happens. So she loses her husband, she can't stay alone, she has to be with someone. Sometimes you may have to have another talk about things that had been concluded before you got married.
Okay.
And this is one of them.
Right.
Okay, so now it has happened. Her husband is gone. She needs to stay with us. What can we do?
Right.
You know, and have an honest conversation with yourselves. However, a good husband and a good wife would also have, whoever's mom it is, would also have an honest conversation with their mom.
Right.
Mom, we know you didn't plan for this to happen, and now you're here. We love you.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are certain things that we expect.
Set the rules.
No, we are not calling them rules. So you have to be really nice. You have to be really nice about it. There's certain things, you know, that we do that may not be convenient now that you are here, but we're going to try to adjust our schedules. But we're asking that you also try to align with us. No one would intentionally go to set a house on fire.
Right.
No one would intentionally make trouble, regardless of what people think. You know, so now that you have that situation, just be nice and be tolerant. The word is tolerant.
Absolutely.
Tolerant.
I love the fact that you just talked about the word tolerant
Yes.
here. And so when we're talking about tolerance, now tolerance should be about the three individuals.
Yes.
Talking about the husband, the wife, and the mother, that is the addition. Now there are times that, just like you said, not to make it rules, not to set rules, but tell them nicely how you do things and how you expect that they also do things. And because we haven't lived together at some point in time, it's going to be a new relationship
Yes.
for all of us
Yes.
in the family. Now, at what point do we begin to set those, well, not to call them rules now. Yes, is it at the point of this person, once you know that, yes, she's coming to live with us, should it be upfront, or should it be bit by bit, or should it be a case of, for example, some mothers would probably not eat what others eat, and then it probably would not.
That is not gonna happen. It's our house.
So what's gonna happen?
You are our guest. Mommy, we love you, but this is what we eat here.
So what if mommy doesn't eat?
If it's a matter, yes, if it's a matter of health, that's an extra sacrifice on the part of the couple.
Okay.
But if it's just, I can't eat what people are eating.
I don't eat Titus.
Or
I want
don't.
Spanla.
I eat freshly made food. So if you're not cooking it this morning, I'm not eating it. So those things, not because it happens.
Like did you see happen?
No, it happens because, you see, she wouldn't tolerate that in her house.
Right.
Because it's her house. But now that her husband is gone, yes, you want to cut her a bit of slack, but then you also want to let her know that, Mom, this is our home.
Right.
It's our home. You have lived your life. You have had your home. Now we're trying to do ours. I'd like to state here categorically also for families that have siblings. In this case now, you don't necessarily have to bombard her with rules, you know, because, you know, in a couple of months, she will also be showered with love by another sibling. So you want to talk to your siblings and say, you know what, now Mom is going to have to live with all of us, of course not at the same time. So she'll spend a few months with us. We'll make her feel comfortable, try to make life as bearable as we can. And before she leaves to the other sibling's house, without making her feel like she's being passed, you know, from one house to the other, right? But here's the trump card. This is a project for you, whether you know it or not, to find her a husband. Yes.
Not depending on the age.
Yes.
The child.
Every woman still wants to mother someone. Every woman wants to love someone, even if she's 70.
Right.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying this is a project for you and your husband. You know what?
Now go shopping. No, husband shopping for
yes,
mother-in-law.
because
You have kids that still need that motherly care, and both of you are not
that's
available.
we will make ourselves available.
Well, see, it's
We will make
what if
ourselves
you cannot
available.
make yourself available? Because this is reality.
It is reality, but this is the solution. Because if her husband was alive, would she live with you?
Absolutely not.
So it's a win-win. Find her a good man. She's happy. We are happy. Honestly, that is the solution. It may sound unfair. It may sound, find her mom a husband. Yes. Find your mom a husband.
Right.
Because if her husband was there, she'd be doting on him, and you can live your lives.
Okay.
Imagine if it was a newly wedded couple. They need time to bond. They need time to be alone. And then there's a third wheel. Two's company, three's a crowd. So she's here with all the great intentions. It's not her fault. She doesn't want to get in your way, but somehow she's getting in your way.
How is that conversation going to come up? Because it's culturally, it's only men whom we can easily think that way towards. I mean, if your father lost his wife or your mom,
They wouldn't even come. That's the difference. The man will never come.
However, the conversation is easier with a man to say, "Oh, Daddy, it's time
can
for you to have
a younger
mommy bisito
She can give you company.
Yeah, those kind of conversations are easier with the men. But then you go, your mom, all you want to do is you want to take care of her now, or you can't say, "Mommy, you need a husband." I mean,
No, you're not. You're not.
companion.
No, you're not going to be. You're not going to be so upfront about it like that. But
Okay.
trust me, you see, the times have changed. Whether we want to
Like it or
agree or not, the times have changed, and so have our parents. A very good example is, let's use the Nigerian context. Okay, there are certain things you would never dream of saying to your parents. You would probably think it, because you know to say it is to die a quick death. you get. But our children do that now, and you're like, if I had tried this with my mom, I wouldn't be alive to tell the story.
Right.
But then the grandmas are there and they say, oh, these children, Sha. And the children are mouthing off. They're not setting them straight like they set us straight.
Right.
That tells us that the world has changed. And so in this situation, you could say, Mom, but it would be nice to actually have a man around the house. And she'd be like, your father. And she would, but in her heart of hearts,
She's also
she wants someone too. And then she's thinking, if I tell my daughter or if I tell my son that it would be nice to actually get married again, what would they think?
That's
But they're
enough.
thinking it.
Right.
They're thinking it. So if they can't voice it, let's help them.
So how long from the death of the husband should it be voiced?
You know what? There really isn't any time limit, because you can never really mourn. Yes, you can never really mourn someone you love. But 6 months, yeah, life will continue to go on whether or not we want it to, whether or not we like it. Whether she likes it or not, life will keep moving.
Okay.
And she can't say, oh, I want to be with my grandchildren. No. Mom, you need to live your life. So you need to sell that idea to her, and she's excited about it. And then you need to do your job. So now you need to find eligible widowers or
Eligible bachelors.
Yes, that's what I said. Well, the first thing I said was widowers, right? Widowers, and then eventually maybe you could actually find someone who's never
A lot of
been
eligible
married.
videos are looking for 18-year-olds or 20-year-olds.
They're not looking at those.
Let's keep it
mothers.
real. Let's just keep it real.
But it's not always the case. There are always
Some that's some
exceptions.
true. You're
There are
right.
always
You're
exceptions
right.
to the rule, because okay, you know what? Let's be realistic here. Whether the person is visiting you or living with you, at some point, everyone overstays the welcome.
True.
Truth, fact.
Right.
Your best friend comes to see you after a week, because she's your best friend, maybe 2 weeks. The novelty wears off. If she's an intelligent friend, she will get to move in.
Right.
Because, unknowingly you're bringing out vibes that
Totally.
when are you going home? You know, especially if she's a friend who's not lifting a finger, she's just binging on Netflix and and you're just coming in from work like,
I like, really?
you're still here, still on the couch, same position, still watching Netflix.
Have you even gotten up from that couch?
You know,
today?
and she's eating away. You know, she's a bestie. You love her. You know, so at some point you're like, okay, so girl, when are you going home?
Right.
You know.
So not, I mean, for best behaviors. Now, when it comes to having the mothers-in-law with you, because I mean, you just touched on a point now that no matter how long it is, it gets to a point where it's tiring.
You will overstay.
Everybody gets on the edge, and
Yes.
you begin to tiptoe just so that you don't get on
Same things that are not there.
Right. So how best can one manage those kind of situations? Sometimes it seems it's the women, but you'll be amazed that men also feel, hello, so when is this holiday over?
Yes.
And when is this person leaving? So at least for the periods that you have your mothers-in-law around, how best can you behave? Because again, sometimes it's often difficult to please some people, no matter how good you are, no matter how respectful you are, you just never satisfy them. So to be at your best, talking about the wives now, at your best behavior, because it's even worse when it's your own mom.
As a woman.
Yes, it's worse when it's your mom.
You see, because she comes. I mean, this is a discussion for another day. She comes and she takes over your home.
It's worse when it's your own mom.
It's your home, but she takes over your home like it's her. She said, oh, but I apologize to all the non-Nigerian, the non-Yoruba speaking. So she says, girl, are you still sleeping? You haven't washed the dishes? There's dust everywhere. And you're like, Mom,
It's my house.
I will deal with it at the weekend when I'm not working. What wife treats her home like this?
Oh, what wife treats her
But this is
husband
not
like
how
that?
I raised.
Oh, don't go there.
You know, so it becomes their home and they're like on your case. So let's not even talk about the mothers of the wives.
Right.
Let's just be on the safe on the safe angle with the mother of the husband.
Okay.
Okay, so you will have a discussion, of course, with your husband. Husband, you will have a discussion with your mom. And then when you're done, we could all have a discussion if you feel there's a need for
that.
it.
Okay.
If there is no need for all of us to be, although I would really, really advise that there is a three-way meeting. So your mom, you, and I together and say, Mom, we love you, we welcome you, we're happy that you're here, and we know that you're going to make positive changes. It's called the sandwich approach. So you tell her nice things, and then you say, Mom, we know that you're used to certain things, you know, at home when you were at home. But now you're here, our eating habits, our sleeping habits may not be so convenient with you. Please bear with us. And we know that there are certain things that you would want to do that we're not used to, and we will bear with you. But we want to ask you, Mom, to please let us live
Our lives.
as one. Let us
It's
live
not
as
a
one.
competition.
If you have anything that you want to tell us, please tell us with love. Because, Mom, really, it's our home, and we don't want any friction. Let her know from the word go.
Okay.
Then she will be the one. I don't want to upset anyone. If a right thinking person will be like that, okay, I don't want to offend anyone. Let me be on my best behavior. And as a good husband and a good wife, you both are like, you know what, let's be on our best behaviors as well. But like I said, everyone will overstay their welcome. That is why that project is important. That is your ticket out. We're laughing. It's serious. Find her a man, and then you both win. You're happy. She's happy.
Everybody's happy.
Because even with siblings, you know what? Let me shock you. Let's leave the siblings out of it. Even with children, sometimes you don't want to see them. Case in point, I see Romelia making a face here. Case in point, the long summer
Holidays.
holiday. You're home, they're there, they're eating, lounging, you know, and you're like,
When will school be? When will school be?
let me ask you a very important question. When schools resume, what's your first emotion?
Like they are gone.
Joy. Finally. Because for somehow, quote and unquote, they have overstayed. You know, they're your children, you can't throw them away.
Sure.
But sometimes we just get tired, we just want to have me time.
Space.
And I'd like to just quickly chip this in for every couple. You should have me time. A lot of couples don't talk about this. They feel, okay, it's for better, for worse. I must see you every day. Sir, ma'am, you need to take a break from home, from the children, and just do you for a while. Because if you're not at your best, you can't give your family your best,
True.
and you can't give your husband your best. Same thing with you, sir. You need to take a break. You can't give her your best, you can't give your children the best if you're always constantly in each other's faces.
Okay.
That's why, you see, the system is so beautiful. We need to sometimes sit down and think about it. The children go to school, you go to work, so you're interfacing with other people, they're interfacing with other people, and then you come home and you converge. So it's not so bad. Think of 2020. There was nowhere to go.
Right.
There was
So tempers were flaring.
homes were wrecked. People committed suicide. Homes were wrecked because husbands were forced to see their wives every day and vice versa, and see their children every day, and then see the naughty antiques they had hidden that you didn't see because you were away at work. You know, so all these things just came out, and everybody like, who have I been living with?
But,
You know, whose children are these?
Well, then again, you mentioned something, and our mothers are our mothers.
Yes.
And, because we know them.
Yes.
Now, whichever spouse his
Owns the mother.
is there, you know what they're up to. You know what they can do. For you, I know you advocated that there must be a three-way conversation.
Yes.
However, is there anything we can do to prepare our spouse, you know, for what is to come, for whatever? Because it's a different thing for you to go visit every Sunday. And
Yes.
she has all this pounded yam ready.
And she's just the nicest person on earth. Yes.
And then, but you know her. You know her as your parent, as your mom. You know that this woman.
She's not nice like that.
Yeah,
She ain't nice like that.
So how do we prepare them? Prepare our spouse.
Remember that in this scenario, it happened, no one planned for it. So you never really get prepared for your mom to come live with you because you expect that your father will be alive. Your mom is your father's responsibility, not yours. Same thing the other way around. You know, they are your parents' responsibility, whichever mom. Your wife is your responsibility. Your husband is your responsibility. So you really can't never plan for someone to die and say, okay, just in case he dies.
But when it
this is what we're
happens,
gonna
you
do.
can still
If it happens, this is what you do. You need to have that. It might be a difficult conversation, but you need to have it because trust me, there are a lot of couples who get into marriage, and before they get into marriage, they say we're not having people stay over with us.
Right.
You know, and even if they're going to stay over, max a month, and they need to go.
And then the situation.
And now it's your mom. It's not your brother, it's not your sister, it's your mom.
Okay.
So what do? Are we going to throw her out? No, we're not. But we need to let her know what operates in this home, because every home has a system, every home has a structure. And there's nothing wrong in telling them, or in telling her, in this case, your mom, that mom, this is what we do. I mean, it's also your home, you know, but we
you
would
need
really
to just
appreciate
this way.
that before you, when you're doing anything, just, you know, have us at the back of your mind, just like we will have you at the back.
of your mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we would have to leave the conversation here today. But I mean, key part here today is that communication matters a lot. However, we want to take a look at it. So without communication, there's just definitely there will be frictions.
Find her a husband. Find her a husband, and then she'll be happy.
Okay.
And you'll be happy.
Tahila, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
She's a relationship and communication coach. Find her a man, she said. And good luck in that conversation. With that conversation.
Talk to me. I can hook her up.
Oh my! Okay.
She's offering the services.
I
Okay.
can hook her up.
Thank you, though, Taylor. Thank you. All right,
Thank you.
viewers. I guess this is where we draw the curtains for this week's edition of Morning Delight. Everyone who's made the show as interesting as it has been, we say thank you. All our members of staff working behind the scene, we say thank you. For the job we have done this week. Let's do this again next week. On Monday, we'll be here again. Stay safe, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Remember, moderation is key, and have those conversations that need be had. I am Romelia Esambidu.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the weekend. Enjoy your weekend. I am Abimbola Bello. Good morning.
We're going to have a weekend.